Ex-wife's incredible transformation revealed, arrives in a Ferrari with twins, touching everyone. Jake Thompson stood outside his garage, grease-stained hands resting against the weathered frame of an old truck. The crisp autumn air carried the sweet scent of caramel apples and popcorn from the Maplewood Fair just days away. In this small Midwestern town, whispers of his ex-wife's sudden reappearance made rounds like wildfire, hardening Jake's resolve to provide the best for his twin daughters, Lily and Mia. Ever since Emily left without a trace 3 years ago, he had poured every ounce of love into those girls. Now, at the very time when memories of the fair should have filled him with warmth, dread filled his gut. That it felt like a lifetime ago when Emily, the town's fair queen, smiled radiantly as she accepted her trophy, an embodiment of dreams. Now, all that remained was a void and unanswered questions that left the townsfolk, and especially Jake, burdened with conflicting feelings of bitterness and admiration for a woman who seemed so out of reach. He had worked tirelessly as a mechanic, his days filled with grease and grime, yet his heart was still heavy with the longing for the family they once were. As he adjusted the truck's fender, Lily and Mia ran out, their laughter ringing like music in the air. They were his everything, and he wanted nothing more than to take them to the fair sugar-spun dreams on cotton candy clouds. He focused on the truck, hammering away, knowing it was all worth it for the smiles on their faces. But that determination turned to dread when, on a seemingly ordinary afternoon, old memories roared back to life. Suddenly, a sleek black Ferrari screeched to a halt outside Jake's garage. His heart sank as the driver's door swung open, revealing Emily. The sunlight danced off her designer clothes, contrasting sharply with Jake's work-worn attire. She stepped out, confidence radiating from her like a beacon, and the twins rushed towards her, ecstatic joy written all over their faces. The town buzzed with gossip, eyes wide and whispers flying. Everyone flooded with surprise and confusion. Behind them stood Jake, fists clenching, a storm brewing in his chest. How could she strut into their lives after years? The girls looked so happy, seeming just like her, effortlessly charming and radiant. Tension crackled in the air, and Jake masked his hurt for their sake, wanting nothing more than a peaceful family outing. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The day of the fair arrived, filled with laughter and colors, but Jake's heart felt heavy. He felt everyone watching, their hopeful eyes hoping for a fairy tale reenactment. But nostalgia and anger wrestled inside him. When Jake finally confronted Emily beneath the brilliant lights of the Ferris wheel, their daughters starry-eyed between them, the atmosphere was charged. "Where have you been?" he asked, his voice low but trembling. Emily attempted to bridge the gap, her voice laced with sincerity. Yet out of the blue, one of the twins chimed in, "Mom, can't we just be a family again?" The crowd drew in a collective breath as silence enveloped them. This unintentional comment hung in the air, tearing at the frayed edges of their lives, igniting a fierce debate about home and love. As glittering lights glared down on them and the haunting echo of their past loomed, the emotional stakes had never been higher. Would this confrontation lead them to healing, or deepen the rift that had torn their family apart? The silence stretched painfully long, a mix of anticipation and despair woven into the air. Jake could feel his heart pounding, matched only by the silent gasps from the crowd. Emily's face faltered for just a moment before she knelt down, meeting the girls at eye level. "Honey, I've missed you more than you can imagine," she whispered, her voice trembling. The twins leaned against her, their small bodies hugging her tightly as if they were the silk ribbon threaded through their fragmented lives. Jake's gut twisted. He could see how the children's joy lit up her face but felt nothing but a whirlwind of anger and confusion. "You don't just disappear for 3 years and waltz back like nothing happened," he said, his voice louder than he intended. The intensity in his tone drew the attention of everyone around them, eyes shifting to their little family drama. Raised voices were not uncommon at fairs, they sometimes belonged to the thrill of a roller coaster or the barking of carnival workers. But this was different. The air was thick with unspoken truths, deeper emotions, and faint echoes of broken promises. Emily took a breath, gathering her thoughts. "Jake," she started, her eyes glistening with something he'd seldom seen of vulnerability. "I had to find myself first. It wasn't fair to you or the girls. I was lost." Her words pierced through the layers of hurt he had carefully built around his heart, but he wasn't ready for any form of understanding just yet. "What about us? What about the life we built together? Was it just easy for you to walk away?" Behind him, a group of neighbors murmured in hushed tones. Some cast pitying glances, others seemed to revel in the drama unfolding before them. "Of course it wasn't easy," Emily fired back, desperation creeping into her tone. "Every day was a reminder of what I left behind, but look at me now." She gestured around, her voice growing stronger. "I thought coming back would fix things." "Fix things?" Jake ran a hand through his hair, frustration boiling over. "Do you think coming back in a fancy car makes it all right? You think looking good makes it okay?" But the twins, caught in the middle, seemed oblivious to the swirling turmoil. With mischievous grins, Lily and Mia pointed towards the Ferris wheel, their eyes sparkling with childlike wonder. "Can we go on that ride, Mommy? Please, please." Jake's heart sank deeper. They were just kids, and he felt an overwhelming protectiveness surge through him. The girls didn't deserve this conflict. But they were also reaching for a life he felt was slipping through his fingers as he stood there, wanting nothing more than to scream at the woman who shattered their family. Emily noticed the glory of the ride capturing the twins' attention, and the softness returned to her expression. "All right, let us go on together," she said, a hint of hope threading her voice. "Maybe we can all have fun, like we used to." Jake paused. Was it really that easy? Could 3 years of absence be covered with a few rides and cotton candy? The weight of uncertainty pressed heavily on him as emotions clashed. "Jake," Emily turned, her expression searching him out. "We need to talk. You and I." The mountain of feelings within him screamed for release. "Talk. Now." He replied incredulously, struggling under the tension surrounding them. With the sound of laughter and joy from the fair dancing around them, Jake faced a choice: confront his anger and resentment or protect his daughters from this emotional storm. And as if sensing the gravity of the moment, the twins grabbed his hands tightly. "Daddy, can we please?" The reality hit him like a punch to the gut as he stood amidst the buzzing fairground, where love and pain swirled hand in hand. Could they truly navigate this fragile moment, or was it too late for them all? "Okay, let us go," he found himself saying finally, but doubt knit his brows together. As they left the scene, laughter feigned strength, but deep down, Jake knew that behind every joyful smile came a storm of unresolved issues. Would this day be the start of something new, or an unraveling of the past? Just as they approached the ride, a familiar voice called his name from the crowd, a voice bearing unexpected news that could change everything they faced. Jake turned at the sound of his name, a sense of dread washing over him. There, emerging from the crowd, was Clara, an old friend and neighbor, her eyes lit with curiosity and concern. "Jake! Hey, wait up!" The joyful clamor of the fair faded for him as he focused entirely on her. Why was she here right now? Clara had seen everything, she'd known them as a family before Emily had left. "Clara," he said, forcing a smile despite the turmoil inside. Emily glanced questioningly over her shoulder, clearly intrigued by the distraction. "Is everything okay?" Clara asked, her voice carrying a genuine concern. Her gaze flicked to Emily, and he could see the wheels turning in her head. "I saw you guys from over there looked intense." "Just a little family reunion," he said, the words feeling hollow. Clara's face softened. "I hope it's going well." Jake could feel the weight of his anger shifting. "It's complicated. Before he could say more, Emily stepped forward, her tone brightening but tinged with nerves. "Hi, Clara. It's nice to see you again. I hope you don't mind me crashing the neighborhood." Jake's heart sank as he watched Clara's expression change. Was that pity in her eyes? "Not at all, Emily. Welcome back." She hesitated, searching for the right words. "I hope everything works out for you, for all of you." Silence hung thick in the air. The twins tugged at Jake's hands, blissfully unaware of the emotional weight pressing down on their parents. "Can we go now, please?" Lily's clear voice sliced through the thick tension, and somehow, it grounded him. "Sure," Jake said, determined to shake off the heaviness. "Let us get on this ride." But the moment was interrupted again, this time by a shrill sound that pierced the carnival atmosphere. An announcement echoed through loudspeakers, calling for participants in a game. Clara's gaze flicked to the booth, and with an eager smile, she said, "You guys should check that out. It's so much fun, and I guarantee you'll win something." Emily's eyes lit up. Jake could see that spark of the woman he loved. "Come on, girls. What do you think? Should we try?" "Yeah. Let us go." Mia squealed, pulling Emily toward the booth as if the weight of their reality had slipped away. Jake hesitated, a knot forming in his stomach. He knew he should be wary, this all felt very surreal. But seeing the twins' joy shattered his defenses, forcing him to follow. As they approached the booth, visions of laughter and celebration swirled around him. "Jake, come on." Emily called over her shoulder, that soft smile rekindling a warmth he thought had faded. The game was simple enough, throwing rings to win oversized stuffed animals. Jake joined in, betraying a smile of his own as he cheered for the twins, their laughter bubbling like soda bubbles in a glass. Each triumphant shout from the girls sent moments of joy surging through the air, mingling with the sweet scent of cotton candy, but still something nagged at him. As Emily helped Mia adjust her grip on the rings, Jake couldn't shake the sense that this was a moment of facade, a temporary escape from their deeper issues. What if this fun was just a way to gloss over the painful realities? He pulled back slightly, watching them from a distance. Suddenly, the world around him didn't feel as bright. "Jake?" Clara's voice broke through once more, pulling his attention. She stood near, concern written across her features. "Are you all right?" He glanced back at the scene, a family moment, almost perfect, but fraught with unspoken words. "I don't know, Clara. I really don't." The laughter of his daughters echoed in his ears, but his heart was heavy with doubt. Tough decisions loomed in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to surface. Then Clara leaned in, her voice low and urgent. "Jake, I have some information that might change everything." His breath hitched. Just when he thought this emotional roller coaster couldn't twist any further, he realized the real ride was only just beginning. What could she possibly know? Would it threaten the fragile balance they were trying to maintain? As he looked back at Emily and the twins, an urgent question gripped him. Was he ready to hear the truth? Jake felt his heart race, each beat echoing Clara's words. Information that might change everything. What could possibly be left to know? The irony twisted in his gut, he thought he had already seen the depths of their pain. "Clara, what do you mean?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. Her eyes darted to the lively booth where Emily and the twins were enthusiastically participating, then back to him. "Not here. Just let us walk." He nodded, feeling a chill crawl up his spine as he followed her away from the laughter and joy that felt so distant now. Each step felt heavy, laden with expectation. As they made their way through the fair, colorful lights and the sounds of excited voices faded into the background, consumed by his thoughts. "Jake, I don't want to upset you, but please, hear me out," Clara began cautiously, her hands clasped together as if she were holding on to something fragile. There were rumors about Emily after she left. Things that concern the twins. His stomach twisted at the mention of the twins. What kind of things? Just whispers that maybe she had some help. Clara's voice trembled slightly as she leaned closer, urgency snapping around them like a taut wire. People have been saying she's not the same person she was before. That she's changed. Significantly. Jake's head spun. The woman he had spent years loving, the same woman who had brought him endless joy, was now surrounded by mystery. What are you saying? That she's different? Yes. People have seen her with someone. Someone influential, Clara replied, her expression grave. The warmth he felt moments ago evaporated, replaced by an icy surge of disbelief. Influential? Like a boyfriend? Clara hesitated, eyes darting back to the booth, as if checking whether Emily was still consumed in her game. More than that, Jake. It's bigger than just romance. It's business, connections. I think she might be trying to create a new life, a powerful one. He felt his pulse quickening. And the twins? Jake, I'm not saying she's doing anything wrong, Clara's voice softened, showing a glimpse of compassion. But the truth is, we don't really know what her intentions are. And in their eyes, she might be different than the mom they remember. The weight of her words crushed him. Thoughts spiraled through his mind: betrayal, confusion, the very fabric of what he once held true unraveling before his eyes. Did Emily, in her pursuit of a fresh start, have a different agenda that could shatter the family they barely held together? I have to talk to her, Clara. She needs to explain this, he stated, determination rising within. Just be careful, Jake. If what I'm saying is true, it could shake everything, and not just with you, Clara warned, concern etched in her features. As he watched the booth, the laughter of his daughters reached him, but it sounded more distant now. What kind of world was Emily stepping into? Did it include them, or was he just a lingering part of her past? Before he could answer his own questions, Clara squeezed his shoulder gently. Jake, don't lose sight of who the twins need the most. Whatever you learn, remember, they're still their mother. He nodded, but doubts rushed through him like a surge of cold air. The festival buzz around him felt jarring now, reality encroaching on the illusion of happiness they had shared moments before. Hey, you two. Emily's bright voice shattered his thoughts, and he turned to see her, eyes sparkling, smiling as if there was no heaviness weighing on their reunion. Look. We won. The twins ran to her, arms laden with plush toys. They were oblivious to the whirlwind of emotions threatening to upend everything he held dear. But as Jake forced a smile for the sake of his daughters, the specter of uncertainty loomed larger than ever. What awaited them in the days ahead? Would the truths Clara hinted at unravel the fragile seams of their family, or just lead him to reclaiming the love they once shared? Behind the facade of their joy, a storm was brewing. And like a child at an amusement park, would he dare take the next ride? Jake managed to maintain a semblance of happiness as he watched the twins hug their mom, their laughter bubbling over like the fresh soda he had just poured. Emily's radiant smile lit up her face, but he couldn't shake the gnawing feeling that darkness lurked beneath. Each joyous moment shared with his daughters felt like a fragile glass ornament, beautiful but merely waiting for a slip of the hand to shatter it into pieces. Can you believe we won these? Emily exclaimed, showing off the toys like they were trophies, her enthusiasm infectious. Yeah. They're awesome. Sarah chirped, her eyes wide with excitement. Jake's heart ached at their blissful ignorance. How could Emily be so light-hearted when he felt the weight of the world pressing down on him? Thoughts of Clara's warnings danced in his mind as he struggled to focus on the happy scene in front of him. Mom, look. They're twins just like us. Lily pointed excitedly at a nearby booth displaying two identical plush animals. Emily leaned down, engaging with Lily, her face alight with joy. They are. And you both are just as special, she said, ruffling Lily's hair. But Jake noticed the fleeting moment of distraction in her eyes, as if she were lost somewhere far beyond this fair. somewhere he couldn't follow. Jake's chest tightened. The distance between them felt so profound. Clara's words hung heavy, weaving through the laughter as needles of doubt. A sudden thought crossed his mind: what if he confronted her now? Would it break the delicate balance, shatter the peace they had fought for? Or would it finally give him the answers he needed to understand this new version of Emily? "Hey, Jake ventured, his heart pounding. "Can we talk for a second?" She straightened, and the light in her eyes flickered as she glanced at him. "Sure. Let me just help the girls with their toys," she replied, still cheerful, but he could see a flash of hesitance, a moment's instability beneath her facade. As she knelt to attend to the twins, Jake stepped aside, trying to collect his thoughts. Here, amid vibrant colors and laughter, it felt wrong to disrupt the peace. But he had to know. He had to understand the fractures running through their family. After a moment, Emily joined him, her smile back in place. "What's up? Can we step away for a moment?" He gestured toward the quieter side of the fair. There's something I need to ask you." Unease flickered across her face, quickly masked by a bright smile. "Okay, let us go." They walked together toward a less crowded area where the sounds of laughter faded slightly. Jake clenched his fists as they moved away from the twins, whose giggles echoed behind them. "Emily," he said, forcing himself to meet her gaze. "I've heard things. About you, about the twins." Emily's brow furrowed, her momentary calm replaced by something darker, a shadow crossing over her features. "What do you mean? What have you heard?" "Clara told me about changes. About someone influential in your life. Are you trying to build a new life without us?" Each word felt like a stone dropped into a still pond, the ripples spreading out in all directions. Her expression froze, eyes narrowing, then softening. "Jake, you have to trust me. That's not how it is." Suddenly, the sound of the twins' chatter filled the air, reminding them of the innocence that rested within their small, confused minds. Emily opened her mouth to speak, but the words seemed trapped, swirling behind her flustered eyes. Please, I need you to be honest." Jake searched her face for a flicker of truth, but all he found was an unsettling storm of emotions threatening to overflow. Would the truth help? Or would it unravel everything? Would it show him the path back to Emily, or farther away than he ever imagined? Behind the smiles, a tempest was waiting, just beyond the surface. And Jake wasn't sure if he was ready to face it. As Emily hesitated, the moment hung in the air, heavy, charged, and fraught with possibility. Would this conversation be a new beginning or the end? What revelation awaited them? Emily took a shaky breath, glancing back at the twins, who were now engrossed in examining their new toys, blissfully unaware of the tension simmering between their parents. Jake could see her evaluating the balance of honesty against the concerns that had been tentatively creeping into her mind. "Jake," she finally said, her voice soft yet firm, "you have to understand. I never wanted to build a life without you. But after everything, things changed. I changed. It's been hard." Her admission cut through the air like a knife, and he felt the weight of her words settling in between them. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. What could he say? How could he even begin to express the confusion and fear swirling in his own heart? "What do you mean, hard?" Jake pressed, wanting clarity while knowing in his gut that her next words could shatter whatever remained of their fragile family. "What has changed?" Emily looked up at him, her eyes pleading, and something in Jake's heart softened. "You remember the way things were? The arguments, all those late nights spent apart. It broke me, it broke us." He nodded, the memories slamming into him like a freight train. Yet, amid the wreckage of their past, he also saw moments of immense joy. The laughter around the dinner table, movie nights smuggled between hectic days, so many reasons to fight for their family. "I thought we were trying to fix it, Emily," he managed to say, a tremor in his voice. "I thought you wanted that, too." Her gaze fell to the ground, studying the patchy grass beneath their feet. "I did, Jake. I wanted it so badly. But then I met someone who made me think differently. Someone who showed me a different kind of life. A chill crept up Jake's spine. He fought the urge to pull back, to guard himself against the hurt. What do you mean? You can't just leave it hanging like that. Who is this person? She winced, her eyebrows knitting together in distress. It's not like that. I mean, yes, I met someone, but it's not what you think. I never meant for it to change me this way. Then how did it change you? Jake's voice rose against the backdrop of laughter, an undertow of urgency woven into his words. You need to tell me the truth, Emily. I can't live in this uncertainty. Silence stretched between them again, and the chaos of the fair felt like a world away. Just them and the weight of unvoiced fears, the vibrations of unresolved questions. I had to figure out who I was, Jake, she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. I lost myself, and this person helped me see parts of me I forgot. But I also realized that I was pushing you and the twins away, and that's the part one regret. What do we do now? The ache in Jake's chest deepened. The path before him twisted and turned, obscured by the fog of uncertainty. Did they dare to navigate a possible reconciliation, or were they standing on separate shores of an ever-widening ocean? Maybe we take some time apart, Jake, Emily replied, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. To breathe, to think. I don't want to hurt you anymore. His heart sank. Time apart. That sounded like a sentence of isolation. Yet, the weight of her pain clung to both of them like an anchor. It feels like everything is changing so fast. But why do I feel like I'm losing you? He asked, his voice cracking. Because, maybe, I'm still finding myself. She reached out, taking his hand softly, holding on like she was scared to let go. And for a brief moment, there was hope mingled with despair, fragile, yet still glowing. As she slowly withdrew her hand, Jake felt a chill settle in as the laughter of their daughters floated behind them, innocent and free. What if this was just the beginning of the end? What if there was no going back? With uncertainty swirling fiercely around them, Jake couldn't shake the thought. What would tomorrow bring when clarity came, perhaps with more revelations lurking just beneath the surface? The fair was a whirlwind of color and noise, yet Jake felt suffocated by the quiet storm brewing inside him. The joyful screams of children echoed in the background, creating a stark contrast to the heavy silence that lingered between him and Emily. Moments with the twins, the smell of popcorn, the vibrant lights, they all faded into a haze as he struggled to grasp what had shifted in his life. Jake. Emily's voice cut through his thoughts. He looked at her, catching a glimpse of the vulnerability that was buried beneath her resolve. You know the twins are going to be okay, right? They still love you. The way she said it made him feel even smaller. But what about us? It feels like we're standing on shaky ground. Her gaze dropped again, firmer this time. It's not about love, it's about understanding. I just need time to think. To figure out what I really want. He could see the pain etched in her features, the same pain reflected back to him in the mirror each morning. I just wish I understood what that meant, what it means for us. Emily bit her lip as she regarded him. Maybe it's not just about you and me, Jake. It's about me finding myself, too. I've been lost. He could feel the creeping dread of losing her growing stronger in his chest. How long will this take? Am I supposed to sit here waiting, hoping you'll come back? I don't even know what that means for our family. I don't want you to wait, she said quickly. Maybe this distance can help us see things more clearly. To understand what we both want. But what if it changes everything? The anxiety tightened around his throat as he spoke. What if we lose each other for good? A tear rolled down Emily's cheek, a small but palpable break in her usually composed demeanor. She wiped it away quickly, but it lingered in Jake's mind. Then we'd have to face that, as hard as it would be. I never wanted this, Jake. With a heavy heart, he turned to watch the twins. Their innocence transported him back to the early, bright days of their marriage, a time when laughter filled their home and love seemed endless. I can't imagine them growing up in a world where we're just apart. Emily cleared her throat, her voice breaking slightly. Let us focus on them first. We'll talk more when we're both ready. For now, just be here for them. The twins ran up to them, eyes sparkling with excitement. Their little hands were now sticky from cotton candy, their faces painted with joy. Look, Mommy. Daddy. They squealed, unknowingly shining a light on the growing shadows in their parents' hearts. With a faint smile, Jake knelt down, forming a bubble of happiness around them, desperate to keep things as they once had been. What do you want to do next? He asked, forcing a cheerfulness that felt foreign on his tongue. Can we go on the Ferris wheel? One of the girls chirped, bouncing on her toes. Their innocence was contagious, briefly lifting the veil of despair. Of course. Let us go. He said, pushing away the heartache just enough to savor the moment. As they walked toward the ride, he caught Emily's eyes for a fleeting second, a shared understanding mixed with uncertainty. As they climbed aboard the Ferris wheel, Jake held both girls close, taking in their giggles and gasps as they reached new heights. They gazed out over the fairground, and for a moment, the world felt alive again. Maybe, just maybe, this moment could be a pause, an opportunity to breathe, to really think. But just as that thought settled, a sleek Ferrari pulled up to the fair's entrance, and Jake's heart skipped a beat as a figure stepped out. The sight stunned him, the realization hitting him hard. Who was she? And even more importantly, what did this mean for Emily? Jake felt a chill crawl up his spine as he squinted toward the entrance. The figure emerging from the Ferrari was striking, her long hair flowing like silk in the evening breeze. She wore a bright red dress that seemed to pulse with energy against the dull backdrop of the fair. It was unmistakably Lily, his high school sweetheart, and now, his ex-wife. His heart raced, a mix of confusion and dread flooding through him. What was she doing here, and why now? He could hardly focus on the happy chatter of the twins beside him. Their laughter became a distant echo as he tried to process how the woman who once took his breath away was now walking toward his family, so far removed from the life they had once shared. Daddy, look! One of the girls pointed, her eyes wide with excitement at the vibrant colors surrounding them. That lady looks like a princess. Jake felt a knot tighten in his stomach. Princess. To their innocent eyes, Lily was beautiful and alluring, everything he once adored. But he couldn't shake the feeling that this might complicate things more than they already were. Emily's expression mirrored his dread. Well, that's unexpected, she murmured, her posture stiffening as the realization washed over her. For a moment, it felt as if time had wormed its way into their day, unfurling a shadow over their fragile peace. Lily approached, her heels clicking against the pavement, a smile stretched over her face. Jake! She called out, her voice smooth yet carrying an undertone of something he couldn't quite identify. Was it nostalgia or perhaps something more sinister? Look at you. It's been so long. Yeah, it has, Jake replied, forcing the words through a throat that felt constricted. He glanced at Emily, whose eyes were wide, filled with a mixture of emotions he couldn't read. What brings you here? He asked, trying to keep his voice steady while the twins continued to bounce with excitement. All he wanted right now was to shield them from whatever storm was brewing. Just enjoyed a little joyride, she laughed lightly, gesturing toward the Ferrari. I thought I'd stop by. I didn't expect to see you here. What are you up to? Jake opened his mouth to respond, but the words got caught. He felt Emily's presence shift slightly, and he could sense her tension as her hand unconsciously tightened around his arm. Mommy, can we go get ice cream now? One of the girls tugged at Emily's skirt, blissfully unaware of the gravity that had settled over them. Sure, let us get some. You two go ahead. I'll catch up in a moment, Emily said, her voice strained yet animated for the twins' sake. She forced a smile, but Jake could see the strain behind it. The distance she had spoken of felt more tangible than ever. As the girls scampered toward the ice cream stand, Jake turned his focus back to Lily. So, you're back in town? He asked, desperately attempting to keep the words casual despite the tension simmering beneath the surface. Lily stepped closer. Just for a bit. I'm working on a new project, she said, her eyes sparkling but unreadable. Maybe I could help you with the kids sometime. It'd be fun to catch up, don't you think? Jake felt a flicker of unease. He remembered the last time they tried to catch up, it had sparked all kinds of complicated feelings. I don't know if that's a good idea, he replied, his voice firmer than he felt. Things are complicated right now. Lily leaned in slightly. Complicated can be a good thing, or it can be an adventure. There it was again, the old chemistry. The feelings he thought had settled like dust suddenly felt like a storm brewing. Jake couldn't push them aside. He glanced back toward Emily. She stayed with the twins, her smile practiced as she pointed to the ice cream flavors. He felt torn between the past and the present, uncertainty pulsing in his chest. Lily, he started, but just then, Emily turned back to call him over, her voice cutting through the haze of thoughts in his mind. Jake! Can you help with the ice cream? Jake's heartbeat quickened. In that moment, he was reminded of the strength he needed to hold on to his family, but that pull from the past was profound and compelling. He hesitated, caught, sensing that this would set the tone for everything that came next. As he rushed to Emily, the heat of the moment lingered in his chest like smoldering embers, waiting for the right wind to ignite them once more. What had he just stepped into? What would happen when they all returned to the same life? That nagging thought tugged at him, would they ever be able to really move on? And what if he had to confront the truth about himself and the decisions he'd made? Jake felt a storm brewing inside him as he reached Emily's side. The laughter of the twins was a welcome distraction, but it couldn't drown out the lingering tension. He forced a smile for the girls, their innocent joy starkly contrasting the turmoil swirling in his mind. What flavors should we get? He asked, kneeling down to their level, hoping to focus on something as simple as ice cream. Chocolate. And rainbow sprinkles. The younger twin exclaimed, her little hands clapping together in excitement. The older twin nodded vigorously, her curls bouncing like her pure enthusiasm. Chocolate it is, Jake said before glancing over this shoulder at Lily, who was still chatting with a few fairgoers. A pang of nostalgia washed over him, mixing with the protective instincts he felt toward Emily and the girls. As he stood and walked toward the ice cream stand, the strain in Emily's expression tugged at his heart. She wasn't just putting on a brave face, she was genuinely trying, yet Jake could see the cracks starting to form. Hey, he said softly as they walked together, the giggles of their daughters filling the air. Are you okay? Emily took a breath, glancing back at Lily. I don't know. I just didn't expect her to show up like this, not now. Yeah, same, Jake admitted, watching as Lily smoothly exchanged phone numbers with someone. It feels unreal. Like a scene from a movie. Right? And now it's our movie, Emily replied, a hint of sarcasm in her tone. Hey, we can write our own plot, he assured her, but his voice felt hollow, even to him. They finally reached the stand, and Jake ordered 2 scoops of chocolate, topping it with the requested rainbow sprinkles. As he handed the cones to the girls, Jake cast another glance back at Lily, now mingling effortlessly with the crowd, her laughter echoing among the fair's cheerful ambience. Daddy, can we go on that ride next? The younger twin pointed excitedly at a towering Ferris wheel, its bright colors twinkling in the twilight. Sure, sweetie, Jake replied, feeling the warmth of her trust fill him momentarily. But as he turned back to Emily, her face had fallen, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. Jake, she said quietly, do you still have feelings for her? The question hit him like a cold splash of water. He opened his mouth to respond, but he was suddenly unsure. Memories of them, of Lily's laughter, of love, of pain, flickered through his mind. Honestly, I don't know, he finally admitted, his voice trembling slightly. I feel things, but I'm with you, Em. You know that. Her eyes searched his face, looking for assurance. I just want to know where we stand. I need to know you're not thinking about going back. Back to what? He asked, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. A life that's over. We have our life now, and I want to build on that. But as he said it, doubt crept in. The vulnerability in her eyes did not easily fade away, casting shadows over his words. I'm scared, she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper, that this is going to unravel everything we've worked for. Jake closed the distance between them, taking her hands in his. We'll face it together, Emily. I promise. Before she could respond, the girls squealed in delight, wanting to head toward the Ferris wheel. Jake relinquished the moment's weight as they all rushed towards the ride, but his heart remained heavy. As they boarded the Ferris wheel, the colorful lights from the fair sprawled beneath them. The girls shrieked with joy, and despite the thrill, Jake felt the ground of his life shift. The spin of the wheel seemed endless, a microcosm of his feelings swirling around him. When they reached the top, the view was breathtaking, and for just a heartbeat, he forgot everything. But inevitably, the ride would descend, much like the unresolved feelings lurking within him. As they disembarked, Jake caught sight of Lily again, the vibrant red of her dress swaying as she chatted effortlessly with a group from the fair. Her presence felt almost magnetic, pulling at the pieces of his heart still tangled in the past. Could he really keep everything together? Would he have to face the truth behind those emotions? As Jake held Emily close, fear gripped him, a dawning realization that perhaps confronting the past was inevitable. As dusk fell over the fair, he couldn't shake the feeling that the night was just beginning, and the choices he made would echo far beyond the twinkling lights. Would he choose to fight for his family or let the shadows of what once was seep back in? The answer felt just out of reach, lingering tantalizingly in the air. Jake felt a rush of emotions as the Ferris wheel descended, the ground rushing to meet them. His daughters, Lily and Mia, squealed with delight, their joy a vibrant burst of warmth cutting through the tension that lingered in his heart. But as the ride came to a finish, he couldn't shake the weight of their uncertain reality. Emily, standing close beside him, looked slightly dazed, her smile faltering, a reflection of the chaos brewing deep inside. He saw her gaze dart past him to where Lily stood, chatting and laughing with their friends, seemingly unaware of the complex web being woven around their family. Let us get some food, Jake suggested, hoping to redirect the energy. He took Emily's hand, offering warmth and reassurance, but she hesitated for a moment, a silent storm swirling within her. Jake, she said softly, pulling him aside just enough so the twins wouldn't hear. Can we just talk for a minute? He nodded, anxiety fluttering in his stomach. Little voices filled with laughter tumbled in the background, yet all he could focus on was Emily's serious expression. He steeled himself, bracing for what was to come. Look, I know things are complicated, Emily began, her voice wavering. I never wanted to come back this way, but I realize now that I'm not who I used to be. That admission hit him like a cold slap, forcing past memories into sharp focus. It was the way she said it, the vulnerability in her tone, that made him wish the ground would swallow him whole. What do you mean? How have you changed? He asked, trying to keep his voice steady, despite the emotions roiling beneath the surface. I spent those years running from myself, from us. I thought I could find what was missing, but what I truly needed was right here, she confessed, a tear slipping down her cheek. Being back with you and the girls feels surreal. Jake felt a rush of warmth at her words, but an undercurrent of uncertainty tangled in the air. But why come back now? Why when you could have made things right earlier? I thought I'd lost the chance, Emily revealed, her voice barely a whisper. After Clara spoke to you, I began to realize how much I needed to be present, not just for you, but for our daughters. The moment his heart ached with hope, it crumbled with fear. What if this change was only temporary? I don't want this to fade. I need to know you're committed to us, to becoming a family again. I want that too. I thrive when I'm with you and the girls. she exclaimed, her eyes lighting with sincerity. But I need you to understand I've been struggling with who I am and who I want to be. This time is about finding balance. As emotions swirled, Jake experienced the weight of those words. He could see glimpses of the woman he loved, he could feel the essence of their shared history resonating. So, what do we do now? He asked, dreading the answer. Let us take it step by step, Emily replied, her voice firm yet soft. Let us focus on the twins, our little family. They deserve us both to be all in. He nodded slowly, still uncertain but feeling a spark of hope. With the twins giggling excitedly in the background, the resolve to make this work flickered like the lights of the fair. Okay, he said finally, squeezing her hand. Together. As they turned to join their daughters, who were bouncing in anticipation, Jake felt the swirl of emotions in the air shift. The tension, though not completely resolved, began to feel lighter. Guess what, Mommy and Daddy? Mia exclaimed, her voice bright with excitement. We want to go on the funhouse next. As they dashed toward the vibrantly painted entrance, Jake's heart swelled. He glanced at Emily, her eyes sparkling with renewed hope and determination. As they laughed and played in the funhouse, the mirrors distorting their reflections, he realized that maybe, just maybe, they could navigate this new landscape of their life together. As the night wore on, surrounded by the joyous laughter of their children and the dazzling lights of festivities, he let himself believe in the possibility of healing. The path ahead was unpaved, lined with uncertainty, but in the strength of their family stood a flicker of resilience. With every challenge they faced, he would fight for this bond, for their love and their daughters. And as they left the fair, Jake promised himself one more thing: he would never let the shadows from the past rob them of their future, nor let doubt dim the spark ignited within his heart. Now, they would walk forward together, ready to confront whatever came next. Don't wait not even one more second. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let your support shine. Comment your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Remember, only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.